it's me, Lauren again. Hi! So today is not a question corner video, but this video was suggested by Teaching Rocks 1. It's an idea that I have had myself many times, but I just never really remembered to make a video about it. So this is about like the differences between like U.S. public schools and Japanese public schools. And so whenever like my foreign friends here, who are mostly American, there are some British people, whenever we get together, a lot of the time we talk about this stuff. You know, like, oh, this is so much better in America, or this is so much better in Japan, or blah 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 blah. And most of us, basically, we've come to the conclusion that like we never really thought all that much about American schools, like when we were actually in America in school, because we never really experienced anything else. And now that we're living here, we're like, wow, you know, American education isn't so bad. And one of my friends from the UK, Joe, you've seen his birthday party videos, he also said that, you know, he thinks exactly the same thing about British schools. Like, he didn't think that they were so great. Now he really, you know, looks back fondly on his experiences. So, yeah, and some of these things, I did discuss this with Joe, so some of these things might be applicable to UK schools as well. But basically, I came up with 10 things, and I'm probably gonna like ramble on about each of these things. So this video is just gonna be part 1 of 2, unless I can think of more, and maybe I'll add on. So this is gonna be like 1 through 5. Like, I have like note paper that I made, like just detailing everything I wanted to talk about. So yeah, stay tuned next week to part 2. Number 1. So in the U.S., generally, you know, each class in junior high school and high school has different students in it, and this is because you are allowed to choose your classes, and you know, when you want to have the class. And so I mean, just having students choose their own classes just kind of means that every class is going to have different students in it. And in the US, it's the students themselves who actually change classes. Like, you don't have a classroom that's your classroom. You just move around through the hallways throughout the day. And because you're allowed to choose classes, there are a lot of different subjects. Like, you can choose to take art, you can choose to take music, you can choose to take, you know, upper level science classes if you want to, and those are available at your school. You can choose what language class you want to take. So there's a lot more choice in everything. In Japan, however, that is not so. Not so. So in Japan, in junior high school, and I've never taught in high school, but I'm assuming that it's the same or very similar, you have one class. Like, you are in, you know, grade 9, class 1, and whatever it is, you know, like whatever class you're assigned to, that is your class of, you know, 30 to 40 students that you're going to be with throughout the entire school year, throughout the whole day. You go to gym class with those students, you go to math class, everything. And because it's your class, you have a homeroom. You have one room that you're in most of the day. Like, cooking classes are in a different room. Science classes are in a different room. But for the most part, you are in that one classroom all day. And because you have to be with those same students all day, you do not have the ability to choose your classes. So, you know, if I really like art, but I can't choose to take more art classes and less math classes, or, you know what I mean? Like, I can't make decisions about that if I were in a Japanese school. And here it's the teachers that actually change classes and not the students. So, number 2, in the US, there's a lot less community in the school. Like, there are a lot of people who just don't talk to each other because, like, you're uncool, or you don't like sports, or I don't know, like, it's just, I remember in my classes, like, no one would talk to each other unless you were already friends, or you had to work together for like a group activity. You just did not speak to other people unless you had to, for the most part. And there's also like a lot of cliques. You know, there's like the cool girls, there's the cool boys, there's the jocks, there's the goth people, there's, you know, like the, you know, the gamer people and the anime otaku, and like there are just many, 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 many different groups of people, and those are the people that you hang out with, and it's sort of like, there's like an unspoken rule that you're not supposed to be friends with other people. I mean, obviously, like I had friends in different groups, but I couldn't I couldn't really hang out with them because it was like socially like unacceptable to do so. And my friend Joe from the UK, he said that there was actually, he feels that there was more community in the UK, like even though you do have more choice and stuff in classes and you can, things like that, like similar to the US in that respect, but you kind of feel like these are my classmates and we are a team, and so he kind of likes that about British schools. But in Japan, your classroom is like a community. Like everyone knows each other. You all like run laps together in gym class. You all participate in like school events together, and like culture day. You have or chorus concerts or like a sports festival. You're all one team. So it encourages everyone to be friendly with one another and kind of get to know everybody. Like you know everyone's name and everything like that. So I think that's probably one of the really good things about Japanese schools, honestly, because you kind of like get that good set of really good friends, I think. But at the same time, you might only get to know those, 30 or 40 kids. So yeah, maybe like less chance to get to know other people. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Number 3. So in the US, basically you start at kindergarten and you go all through school and you finish in 12th grade, so your senior year of high school, and then you graduate. And you have to go to high school, but you are allowed to drop out after a certain point. I know, pretty sure in New Jersey it's 16, but that might be different, like depending on your state. I don't know. I only have experience in New Jersey, so yeah, but you do have to go to at least your first year or so of high school. And so generally, not always, but generally it goes like elementary is K through 5. There are schools in the US, I know, that are K through 6, but generally it's K through 5. And junior high school or middle school is 6 to 8, and high school is 9 to 12. There are obviously exceptions, but I think that this is fairly normal. And in Japan, however, you are required to go through first grade through 9th grade, so your last year of middle school here in Japan. So first grade through 9th grade. High school is optional. You don't have to go to high school. It is highly recommended that you go to high school, but you don't have to go to high school. And here, like first grade through 6th grade is elementary school, and junior high school is 7th grade through 9th grade, but they're considered like first year, second year, third year here. But it is, in the US, it would be 7th through 9th grade. And high school is 10, 11, 12. Again, that would be considered first year, second year, third year. So you still have 12 years of school that are available to you, whether or not you take the last 3 years or not. But yeah, like it's broken up differently. Number 4, in the US, you have like an average, obviously there are exceptions to this, like you have an average of like 8 classes a day, not including lunch, so that would be like 9 periods in a day. And that's in junior high school and high school. And I don't really remember much about elementary school, but I kind of remember that it was sort of like up to the teacher, like how long math was or how long this was or whatever. But yeah. So you have an average of 9 classes a day, including lunch. And in Japan, you have in elementary school and junior high school, I don't know about high school, I'm assuming it's similar, but you have 5 or 6 classes, depending on the day. There are days where they're just like, we're going to finish in 5th period today, so there are no 6th period classes. And basically, like, so school ends, like, slightly earlier, and they, like, clean the school, or clubs start early, or they have practice for sports day, or the chorus concert, or whatever. So, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of weird, because, like, so, your classes are getting gypped. Like, you have one period in a day for something where you don't learn whatever subject you're supposed to learn. But it's totally random. Totally random. There's just some days where they just go home early. And other days they don't. I don't really get why it is that way. So 5 or 6 classes, like 45 minutes or 50 minutes long, again depending on the day or the school. And they also have like half hour to 45 minutes for lunch. So I'm sorry if you hear, but I have like a cough drop in my mouth because my throat really hurts. It's really scratchy. But anyway, so number 5, school starts at like around 9ish in the U.S. In elementary school, around 8 in junior high school. Sorry, and around 7 in high school. And the school usually ends like 2 or 3ish. And most clubs, if you are in a club, are like 30 minutes to an hour. Most of them, but if you're in sports, it'll be longer. I never did sports, so I don't really know how long it is. And club attendance is generally not mandatory. Like, I assume if you're in sports, it's kind of more mandatory, but like if you were ill, like you really weren't feeling well, or I don't know, for whatever reason, like you couldn't go, it's not mandatory for you to go, like if you have an excuse. We just don't feel like going, in some cases. So, in Japan, school starts at like 8:45 for elementary school and junior high school. The time varies by the school. And school ends like around 3, so like 3:05, 3:30, 3:15, it depends on the school. And if you are in clubs though, like if you're in a sports club, quite often you have to go to school like around 7ish, maybe even earlier, to practice. And then you have practice again after school until like 6 p.m. And unlike in the US, club attendance is mandatory. So if you choose to join a club, you have to go to the club. Like, unless you have the flu or you lost an arm or something, you have to go to club. It's a really, really big deal. Really, really, really big deal. Really, it's very important for you to go to club. So, that's a, pretty huge difference. Well, that's all for this video that I'm going to be talking about, especially because it's so hard to talk. I didn't realize it would be that hard to talk. So sorry about that. I still have a cold. But you can see that there are like pretty staggering differences between like US and Japanese schools. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me, I don't know. But yeah, so just stay tuned next week to, you can see like the other 5 ones, so like it's like 6 through 10 that I came up with, and hopefully I'll be able to talk properly in that video. So sorry that this one might be hard to understand. But yeah guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye!